Good evening and thank you for joining us. The new east-west tie power line project has now been electrified.
Officials with NextBridge and the Ontario government gathered in Wawa today to formally announce the activation of the massive project. Lee Noonan has more.
More than 1,200 towers were built between Wawa and Shunya, running parallel to the existing Hydro 1 line. The $777 million east-west tie is intended to increase electrical capacity along the corridor and create redundancy, allowing power to continue flowing through one line if the other is ever down. Minister of Northern Development Greg Rickford and Energy Minister Todd Smith both emphasized the role the new power line could play in attracting resource development projects to the area.
We're pleased to cut the ribbon on a energy infrastructure corridor that's going to do two things. One, provide solid energy infrastructure all along the corridor for communities, including and most notably Indigenous communities, but also be there for new industries in mining and forestry that we know are going to start up in the not too distant future.
So this electrification along this route is going to make it easier for mining companies to tap into that resource to help extract those critical minerals that are so important when it comes to investments like we've seen in the south recently, the $5 billion investment that LG Stellantis is making in the Windsor area to build electric vehicle batteries.
The project was a collaboration with Indigenous partners, with the province estimating that up to 60% of the project's construction workforce was Indigenous. Jennifer Tidmarsh, project director with NextBridge, the company that owns and operates the transmission line, says that many of the workers employed on the project received training that they continue to use today.
And a lot of these people have gone on and made careers out of transmission line building. So there's quite a few projects that are happening, across Canada, and some of them have been moved to other projects, and some of them even have taken the skills that they learned on the East-West Tie and are getting jobs locally as well.
According to Tidmarsh, the project is built to withstand weather conditions on the North Shore and is expected to last 84 years. The cost to the province will be included in electricity bills throughout Ontario for the lifetime of the transmission line. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Meanwhile, the Ontario and federal governments have taken another big step to four-lane Highway 1117 between Thunder Bay and Nipigon. Officials from both levels of government gathered near Dorian over the weekend to announce a $107 million contract to twin another large section. Vasilios Bellows reports.
Kenora Rainy River MPP Greg Rickford made the announcement in Dorian about the $107 million project, which is expected to create 750 jobs. The construction, which is set to begin this year, has an expected completion date by 2026. Rickford was highly supportive of the project and explained how important the highway expansion will be to the region.
Northwestern Ontario in particular, it's high time that these roads were twinned. But Northwestern Ontario in particular is really one of the only sections left to twin. So I hope today is really about a legacy that moving forward within the next generation, if not sooner, the next decade, our highways are twinned.
Superior North MP Patty Haidu was also present for the announcement, as the federal government will be footing $30 million of the $107 million price tag. Haidu said the community has raised concerns to her regarding travel on Highway 1117 and that this project is addressing those issues.
So this is a very important project to increase the safety for people. Many people get health services on a regular basis in Thunder Bay. People go shopping. There's trade all along this corridor. So this is going to be a sigh of relief for many people.
Once the newly announced widening is completed, 72 of the 106 kilometers of Highway 1117 will be widened to 4 lanes. There is currently ongoing construction on other stretches, and while Rickford was unable to confirm which phase they are at, he was confident with the progress being made.
Having driven out here from Thunder Bay, things are well underway. We're standing beside a bridge that's under construction and a significant portion of twinning well underway. So we want to be ready for the next stage, and that's what today is about.
Both Minister Rickford and Minister Haidu stressed that collaboration between the provincial and federal governments is crucial in projects such as these that have a massive impact on safety for those in the region. Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
Ontario is now officially in a 6th wave of COVID-19, according to the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health. Dr. Kieran Moore gave his first public update in nearly a month. But despite rising cases and hospitalizations, the province will not reinstate an indoor mask mandate for public settings or any other restrictions. Dr. Moore says the province has all the right tools to help people live with the virus and get through this latest wave.
We've known that as we remove public health measures that we would have a rise in incidence across Ontario, and hence the reason we have our 3-point plan. Continue to wear a mask, continue to get vaccinated, ensure that you keep up to date with your boosters, and know if you would be eligible, after discussing it with your healthcare provider, for antivirals. Those three major platforms will help Ontario through this next wave. We have 30 to 40,000 treatment doses or treatment regimes of Paxlovid available to Ontarians, and I want to make sure that they're used.
Wastewater testing shows the province could be seeing around 100 to 200,000 new cases each day. But Dr. Moore says they're not seeing a correlated rise in hospitalizations. That, he says, is a testament to the protection offered by vaccines.
Well, COVID-19 hospitalizations are relatively stable at the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Centre. There are 19 COVID patients in hospital. That's the same number as on Friday, but up from 17 over the weekend. 5 people are in the ICU with the virus. The hospital's overall occupancy rate is just under 104%, while the intensive care unit is 86% full. The Thunder Bay District Health Unit is reporting 71 new infections over the weekend. There are now 123 known active cases. However, all case counts across Ontario are considered to be underestimates given testing restrictions. There are no case numbers for the Northwestern Health Unit today. The NWHU now only provides weekly updates on Wednesdays.
A preliminary hearing began today at the Thunder Bay Courthouse for a teenage girl accused of killing 14-year-old Kaylee Ival in April of 2020. Ival was reported missing by her family before her body was found in the bush off Lyon Boulevard. City police later charged 2 people with first-degree murder, a female youth who was also 14 at the time, and Jared Sainawap, who's now 23. Sainawap later pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of accessory after the fact to murder. He apologized in court today and was sentenced to 3 years in prison, minus credit for time served. The preliminary hearing for the female youth is expected to last 2 weeks. 17 witnesses are being called to testify. There's a publication on all evidence that's presented.
Local OPP have now laid charges against the driver of a transport that tipped over on the Thunder Bay Expressway yesterday afternoon. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the mishap caused traffic delays for much of the day. The OPP investigation determined the rig had been involved in a collision in Saskatchewan several days earlier and was ordered to be taken off the road for repairs. The transport was carrying peat moss. It was turning left off Dawson Road onto the expressway when the load apparently shifted and caused it to tip over. The driver, a 41-year-old man from Brampton, has been charged with careless driving. The company that owns the truck has also been charged with permitting the operation of an unsafe vehicle.
Confederation College's Aviation Centre has received significant funding from the 3 levels of government to expand its training capacities. A total of $3 million is coming from the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, FedNor, and the Thunder Bay CEDC. The announcement came this morning. The province is providing $1.5 million, and Ottawa is contributing $1 million. Excitement is high at the college facility near the airport, which is set to bring in a number of new pieces for its pre-technology aviation, aircraft mechanic, and flight programs. By next semester, students will be able to use the 5 new Cessna aircrafts worth roughly $600,000. Also acquired with that money are 2 state-of-the-art multi-engine flight simulators. Colin Kelly, the Dean of the College for the School of Aviation, expects the upgrades to increase enrollment up to 70 students.
The intent of the funding is not only to update the equipment, but also to allow us to add more students, because the upgraded equipment will allow us to be more efficient in what we do. So for example, if we have new equipment in here, we can train more students at once on the static fleet.
The college has developed an international reputation for its training for technicians and all kinds of different allied professions for the aviation sector. And it's great to have Thunder Bay on the map in that way, that students from all over the world are choosing to come here.
Really forecasting a huge shortage of both pilots and aircraft mechanics. And of course, with COVID, it really set things back a lot, but It's projected to, and we're seeing it already, to pick up again the need for both pilots and aircraft mechanics.
The NOHFC announced other investments today as well, including more than $477,000 for Oliver Papoonge to build a car museum. The already constructed building next to Pioneer Village will hold a number of antique cars and other collectibles, which were previously housed at a former museum on Roslyn Road.
With gas prices still hovering near $2 a litre here in Northern Ontario, the provincial NDP tried to force a vote at Queen's Park today to have rebate checks distributed across this region. But that vote didn't happen.
Whereas Northerners need help now and cannot wait 3 months for relief, therefore the Legislative Assembly calls on the Ford government to deliver real relief for Northerners by immediately issuing a one-time rebate of $200 per household to offset the rising cost of living in Northern Ontario.
In response to the NDP's call, the Ford government moved to stall the vote on the rebate indefinitely. Government officials instead decided to focus on Bill 111, which would lower the gas tax across the province. But the NDP notes that plan doesn't require gas companies or other retailers to actually maintain a lower price. The opposition adds that the government's own calculations only show an average savings of about $45 over 6 months. Still, Government House Leader Paul Calandra touted the benefits of the PC bill as the reason for blocking debate on the NDP's proposal.
I hope that later on today they will work with us and will help pass those reductions in taxes for all of Ontarians, not just Northern Ontarians, but for all of Ontarians, Speaker. And given that we have a bill on the table today in order to do that for the people of the province of Ontario, Mr. Speaker, I think it is vitally important that we focus our energies on that. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I move adjournment of this debate.
This weekend was a memorable one for local skiers. A large crowd gathered at Loch Lomond yesterday for the popular Dummy Downhill event. That was held for the first time in 3 years. And Mount Baldy has now wrapped up its ski season for another year. Jessica Clement has more.
The conditions were fantastic for the Dummy Downhill this year. About 200 people came by to watch and cheer for the skiing dummies. And while most dummies weren't able to make it halfway down the hill, everyone was having a good time. General Manager of Loch Lomond, Jason Gary, says it's great to be able to gather again.
Well, super exciting. It's just nice to be able to get outside in big groups again and have some fun and cheer for something.
The fun at Loch Lomond won't stop this weekend, as the hill will be open for at least another week, and will be hosting their annual Slush Cup this Saturday.
Which is a water skip where we make a pond and then people come down the hill and skip across the water for fun and prizes, best tricks, best costumes, etc. And we also have a free day coming up as well. We'll be announcing the details of that soon through our social media.
Meanwhile, things were bittersweet at Mount Baldy as Sunday was their last day of the season. Skiers and snowboarders came by to hit the slopes one last time before the hill closed. We spoke to Snow School Director Vicky Vesna and some skiers to get their thoughts on the end of the season.
It's always sad when it comes down to the last day of the season, but everyone in the ski and snowboard community love spring skiing. So the stoke's really high, but there's still a little bit of sadness knowing the season's coming to an end.
It's really disappointing. It's like I always come here after school with all my friends, and it's really sad it's the end because it's like a place we go every winter to have fun, and it's over.
It's bittersweet, you know. It's been a great season. We've had a lot of fun out here, but spring is right around the corner, so it'll be nice to not have to bundle up anymore. But it's been an awesome season, and glad I was able to be a part of it.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Well, Fiona.